How to double your masculinity. I believe that's what we've titled this video. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 concrete exercises that you can do in your everyday life to double your masculinity. Now, before I do that, let me just tell you personally myself, I'm naturally a more sensitive guy. I have a lot of naturally feminine traits, such as I'm very empathetic, I'm very nurturing, I tend to be more passive. And the reason why I share those things with you is because I suspect a lot of you probably have maybe a stronger feminine side than masculine side. And you may be doubting yourself like, hey, can I be a masculine motherfucker? And I can tell you, you can. Men and women both have masculine and feminine polarity within us. And everyone is born with a different ratio of masculine to feminine energy. So for example, for me, I've got a good dose of feminine energy and I've also got masculine energy as well. But for me, the feminine side came more natural. Maybe that's also a product of being raised by my mother and also having an older sister. And the masculine side, I had to more intentionally develop, access, and tap into. So the way I want you to look at this is you have a masculine side too, but you may have to tap into it more and learn how to access it. All right? So it's not that you're not masculine. It's that you have, you're better at accessing your feminine side than your masculine side. And we need to balance the scales out so you ideally have access to both. I believe a really well-rounded, real man is a man that can access both his feminine side when needed, such as when caring for a newborn baby, or his masculine side when, let's say, he needs to go into battle or fight or do some kind of business deal. First of all, let us define what it means to be masculine. My definition, this isn't an all-encompassing definition, but I think it really simplifies things. And that is, to be masculine, to be a masculine man, is to be uncomfortable. If you want to have that masculine edge, as they call it, where when a woman meets you, she's like, bah, this is a masculine motherfucker. Or you walk into the boardroom and the men in the room, or men and women in the room, feel like, boom, here's a masculine man, someone who's able to lead and dominate. In order to do that, you need to live in discomfort. So what does that mean? The life of a man, of a warrior, of a masculine motherfucker is uncomfortable. So a masculine man is doing uncomfortable things, such as doing cold plunge or taking cold showers, doing intense workouts where he's moving a lot of weight, tracking his macros, that's your carbs, your fats, your proteins, basically being on a strict diet, which is difficult, and a lot of times you're hungry. That's hard. So there's a great saying, if you want to be hard, you got to do hard things. If you want to be more masculine, your life has to change from being comfortable to getting uncomfortable. You need to exercise what is called self-inflicted adversity, self-inflicted discomfort. So, concrete examples from my life. 1 year, I took cold showers for an entire 12 months. Maybe it was like 11 months. It was a few years ago, but almost a year of cold showers. And that's not like you take a hot shower and then at the end you switch it to cold. No. Step into the shower, no warm up, boom, just hit the cold, let it hit you. Did that for about a year. Another thing I did in my life was I approached hundreds of attractive women. So I cold approached hundreds of attractive women. That is hard. You want to be hard, you got to do hard things. Or we can say, you want to be masculine, you got to do hard things. So the path for you into tapping into your masculinity, into your inner warrior, is to live an uncomfortable life. One thing I say to my people is you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Now, before I give you the 3 exercises, let's see the opposite. What makes you less masculine and more feminine? Scrolling on your phone, watching porn, watching Netflix, overeating, skipping workouts, not approaching women, not taking cold showers, not doing anything hard. Basically, living a comfortable life makes you more passive. It doesn't challenge you. It's inside your comfort zone. And so you're progressively just becoming this soft ass, weak little bitch, and you're living more of like a boy. A boy lives in comfort. A man lives in discomfort. So here are 3 ways where you can double your masculinity if you add these to your lifestyle. So number 1 is start approaching attractive women. Approaching attractive women is one of the scariest things for a man to do. I've met 2 Marines who told me it was easier for them to run into a shower of bullets in battle than to walk across the room and talk to a beautiful woman. So the fear of approaching an attractive woman is real. It's kind of like wired into us. So if you approach hundreds of women, that's going to build up your masculinity because it is a real challenge for you as a man. Number 2, I recommend you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I personally don't do it. Okay, that's like one of the regrets I have in my life. And now at 44, I'm not willing to go into it and get all those like little micro injuries you might get during the practice of BJJ. But I have a lot of friends who do it as well as a lot of clients who do it. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of the hardest things, one of the hardest sports, and it builds your character as a man. What's beautiful about BJJ, as well as approaching hot women, is you can't cheat. All your weaknesses get exposed. That's a big part of becoming a masculine man. Having the balls to face yourself honestly and face the areas that you suck at honestly. Let me tell you, there's few things more humbling than approaching hundreds of women. If you think that I approached hundreds of women and those all hundreds of interactions made me feel great and boosted my ego, you're very wrong. A big number of those approaches revealed my blind spots and my weaknesses and holes in my game. It was a very humbling experience. And in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I just remember now, even my brother was doing it. You go there and you realize just how much you suck, right? And you get submitted. And I think they tell you like for the first year or 2, you're just going to get submitted. Just surrender to that fact. But there's so much growth in that. There's so much learning in that. And we're talking about masculinity. I was interviewing one of my ex-clients who was a double black belt jiu-jitsu master. And he said that sometimes these really macho, strong ex-military guys will come into the class and they have a big ego and they think they're just going to come in and, kick everyone's ass. And when someone with a big ego walks in the door, he makes sure in the first class or first few classes, they get submitted and they get put into their place. And he tells me, none of these supposedly tough guys ever comes back after a first or second class because their egos can't take it. So this is a great lesson. BJJ makes you face yourself and humbles you, and only a real man with real character, strong character, can deal with being humbled enough and keep coming back for more. So approaching women humbles the hell out of you. BJJ humbles the hell out of you. And the third thing that's going to build your masculinity is lift weights. But hear me out, because a lot of you are going to be like, oh yeah, I go to the gym. No. Most of you don't do it properly, okay? Lift weights to the point where you take your shirt off, and all of us in the room, if there were 12 of us lined up, we would all be like, that guy works out. That guy's a beast. So you take your shirt off and you have a 6-pack. or at least the outline of a six-pack. Anything less than that, you don't qualify. So work out hard enough until you look like a guy who works out, and you take your shirt off and everyone's like, damn, that guy definitely works out. You can see the six-pack, you can see the chest, the shoulders, the biceps, all that stuff. That builds your masculinity because that also takes a lot of character to sculpt your body to the point where when you take your shirt off, you have 15% body fat or less, because that involves lifting heavy, being disciplined in your lifting, and also eating properly, which is also very hard. A lot of people go to the gym half-ass, eat half-ass, and they take their shirt off. They look big, but they're puffy. That doesn't count. That's not character building like I'm talking. When you do the bodybuilding right, the way I'm telling you, where you get that result, you can only get that result through working hard and being disciplined and accountable with your training and your nutrition. And that is going to build your masculinity as well. So if you do those three things, incorporate them into your lifestyle, I promise you will at least double your masculinity. Now, if you're an older guy like me in your 40s, I don't know if you want to start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because you will get micro injuries here and there, but at least do the other two. Make sure you're approaching women that intimidate you, and make sure you get a body that you're proud of when you take your shirt off. If you enjoyed this conversation, we have a mastermind that happens every Sunday. You can check the link in the description to learn more about it. Thanks for watching.